dessert. It's time to talk dessert. Hello everybody, welcome to Home Movies. I'm Alison Roman and I'm making a caramelized maple tart. And the reason I picked this was because to me, it is exactly what you want a pumpkin pie to be, but with no pumpkin. Of the Venn diagram of like pumpkin pie and pecan pie, it fits directly in the center. Like it kind of has pecan pie. I switched to pecan. That was weird. I said pecan and then I went pecan. Every time I say pecan, I think of When Harry Met Sally. Would you like some more of my pecan pie? Right? That's what they say?
Pecan pie. Pecan pie. Pecan pie.
I just watched this movie.
And he's like, would you like to go to the movies with me?
Oh,
and she goes, would you like to? And he's like, no, I'm asking you, do you want to go to the movies? And then she's like, oh, I have a date. And he's like, I love Sally. Anyway, this tart is custardy without being like thick, and you don't have to worry about it setting because it sets almost like a fudge texture a little bit because of the maple syrup. It has like sort of like the caramely texture energy of the pecan pie, but like the spiced sort of set custard of the pumpkin, but it's neither. There's no nuts, it's nut free. I don't like pumpkin pie and I'm allergic to nuts. Guess what? You can make this tart. It's gonna be perfect. You're gonna love it. We interrupt this episode of Home Movies to bring you a special thank you from our sponsor, Fresh Direct. Fresh Direct and I are in a deep, passionate, long-term committed relationship, both professionally and personally. I use Fresh Direct for my dinner parties, for my photo shoots, for every episode of Home Movies, for when I'm not feeling well and just can't leave the house. It is a service that I am deeply dependent on. I love Fresh Direct because I know what I'm getting when I shop there. They have the brands that I already love and trust. They have like a really awesome selection of like farm produce and things that I would normally get at the farmer's market, but that they deliver to me. And I just really like the selection. I trust it. I'm very picky with my groceries and I don't let just anyone pick out my parsley, but Fresh Direct, I trust you. And if you're loving this video, you can get the full menu, the full Thanksgiving experience over on my YouTube page. And in the description of that episode, you will find a link. And if you click that link, it will take you to a page where you can buy all the groceries that you need to make this exact menu. And new customers can enter the code ROMAN50 at checkout to get $50 off their first order of $99 or more, plus free delivery. And I can't wait for you to join me. I'm melting 1.5 sticks of butter, 6 ounces. This is for our crust. All right, I'm doing 200 grams of all-purpose flour. This is 80 grams of powdered sugar, a teaspoon-ish of kosher salt. This is like my basic press-in tart crust. I think it's the same exact recipe as the one for simple fruit tart. I like to do the edges first. So you kind of just like imagine how thick you want the walls. And if it goes above the tart pan, that's fine because we're gonna clean it up after. Very soothing activity, frankly. All right, and take the remaining and just kind of press it in. I'd say the most important part of this tart is to make sure that you have even coverage on the bottom, so no holes. And you do want like the bottom to be as even as possible. I would also say take your fingers and like get into the crevice there. And then take your little knife if you like. You can bake it like this, who cares, but if you really wanna go for it, it's also very satisfying. And then take a knife or a fork, especially around the edges where it's a little thicker. Just give it like a nice little poke. This gives the steam a chance to escape, which not only helps with preventing bubbles, but it also makes sure that the crust is evenly baked through. Like heat can circulate better. So this is gonna go into the oven for 15 to 18 minutes, 15 to 20, let's call it, depending on your oven. It shouldn't be all the way golden brown baked through, but it should be set. We don't need to wait for the crust to cool or anything, so we can make the filling now and yeah, so let's do it. Again, the hardest part of this filling is caramelizing the maple syrup. And the reason we do this is because maple syrup is a lot of water. It has a lot of liquid. So in this little tiny pot, we're gonna add 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Doesn't sound like much, but I promise you this tart is like just sweet enough. So that's gonna simmer for like 8-ish minutes and it's gonna become really dark and the bubbles are gonna go from really fast and tiny to slower and bigger. And to deglaze the maple once it does start caramelizing, which is gonna take about 8 to 10 minutes from boil, we're gonna add about 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, which is optional. I just think it's really nice. It's nice with the maple, it's nice for the holiday. Again, it kind of gives spice energy without being like baking fall spice. It just, cinnamon alone to me is so much more elegant than combined with other ingredients. So in this bowl, 1 whole egg and then 1 whole egg yolk. The egg white is there to kind of act as like a, it binds better, and the extra yolk is there for the richness to kind of make it, give it that like custardy energy. Cool tablespoon of cornstarch. We have our crust. Something that's nice to do when it comes out is take a measuring cup and just kind of depuff it a little, compress it. I do this with all my tart shells, whether it's a pie crust or a press-in crust, and I just like a tight corner on a tart shell. So it didn't slump too bad. I'm not too worried. So we have our egg yolk, our egg, our cornstarch, we have our cream, and I'm gonna get out a little cinnamon. This is gonna happen kind of quickly. See how like slow moving the bubbles are now? That's what you're looking for. I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm gonna whisk it. And it should smell really, really good. It should smell almost like you're walking into a Yankee Candle, but in a good way. And then really slowly, it's just like you're making a caramel. And basically just temper in a little bit of the hot cream and maple mixture. And so now we have this filling, and it's gonna go straight into the crust. I always recommend baking this on a sheet pan. It just makes it easier to take in and out of the oven. So you'll notice that it's not coming all the way to the top. That's intentional. Once we bake it and chill it, it's gonna, again, be like kind of shallow, and then we top it with a bunch of whipped cream. So this is gonna go into our 350-degree oven for 30 to 35. It's time to take the tart out. I don't know why I'm doing it like that. Okay, see how puffy it is? See how it's like jiggling, but it's puffy? That's perfect. So I'm gonna let this cool to room temp before I pop it in the fridge overnight, and then that's when you put the whipped cream on it. Yum delish. What do we have here? Well, well, well. Look what we have here. I baked this last night. This is the same tart, but rested. She's rested. She's gotten a cool 16 hours in the fridge. Wow, like a magician, like a mixologist. I'm gonna break a sweat. Gorgeous whipped cream. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Yeah, the final thoughts. Serve it with ice cream, serve it with whipped cream on the side, serve it with more maple syrup on the side, like grapes, bunches, like fresh citrus, like it should be like, oh, that was a nice little touch, a nice little finish, a nice little something. Oh, great.
A lot of people standing for pumpkin pie.
Standing?
Like, hello, pumpkin pie.
Really?
Have it, yeah. I don't know. I think it's because it's like the only time you can get it. You know what I mean?
You can, honestly, guys, I have news for you. You can get it anytime you want. You can literally make pumpkin pie any day of the year. You can eat any food any time of year. In fact, I might make these turkey wings later this week. They're delicious. Mmm.